to exist. The famous Bogorodice Dievo, the Ave Maria, was known at the time as a quiet song. So it comes at a time when Orthodox music was at its peak, and then when we didn't get to hear much of it for a long time after that.
And the politics does enter into all of this, doesn't it?
It really does.
And I suppose audiences in years to come may not understand. I guess this is where knowledge of history is helpful.
Sure.
If there is a suppression, as you say, of music, or something disappears from view, it's not just a clerical error, though sometimes clerical errors are imposed on people, but there may be a historical reason for the absence of that work. How long of a work is this?
It's about an hour and 7 minutes. All a cappella, and we're performing it that way. Of course, it was written to be part of the all-night vigil service. So the first 5-ish movements would have been done basically for the Vespers service, and then the next 9-ish movements would have been part of the Matin service, that part of the canonical hours between midnight and dawn, and then the last movement would have been performed at first hour sunrise.
What was the purpose of a work like this?
Well, it's largely in the texts that are part of the vigil service, and the particular text, Psalms especially, that Rachmaninoff chooses. There's a real sense of meditating on the Virgin Mary. It's almost a Madonna in music.
Jedediah is the tenor soloist, and are your solos throughout the work, or are there specific sections?
No, so my solo is just the 5th movement, which is just this gorgeous movement that essentially the text is, like, bring me home to your glory, Lord, because, my eyes have seen it, so now I want to go be with you, so...
It's the Nunc Dimittis text, but in Russian.
Right.
Is this something that... How do you approach a work like this? I mean, have you sung any Rachmaninoff before?
I have. Actually, the most famous one, the 6th movement, Bogorodice Dievo, I've sung that a couple times. So I knew the kind of feel of it, but this large work is just, overall, you go through so many moments of ups and downs, and I just kind of approach it by, how do I feel? How does it make me feel? Really connecting with the text.
And the text is all in Russian, I think.
That's right.
The next question just flew out of my head, but let's hope it flies back in quite promptly. Gregory Bristow is from the Oberlin faculty, and Jedediah Relihan is a performer in the all-night vespers, all-night vigil. Was this conceived as a work for very large choral forces?
Yes, large-ish choral forces, anyway, somewhere between, say, probably 40-ish and 80-ish people. A lot of that evidence of the performance practice at the time comes to us via Chesnikov, another great composer of Russian Orthodox music, who, as he saw the changes happening in Russia, started a book called The Choir and How to Direct It, with the express idea that at some point he hoped this music would be brought back. And so he talks about numbers of voices and etc. And he basically says that for a work like this, the smallest you would go is 40, but people do it with fewer. We'll sing it with 68 singers.
Gregory Bristow and Jedediah Relihan. This performance is Sunday, the 1st of October. That's this Sunday at 7 p.m. It's at Church of the Covenant in University Circle. It's on Euclid, 1 block east of Severance Hall. The performance is complimentary, so is the parking. And again, that's Sunday, October 1st at 7 p.m. What do you do about so many people in the chorus parking in the parking lot? Will there be any room for people that are actually coming for the performance?
We're taking a bus from Oberlin, so all the spots will be there for the audience.
This is the generosity of the performance. That is this Sunday, the 1st of October, 7 p.m., a free performance of the Rachmaninoff Vespers, and that's the Oberlin College Choir. And Jedediah Relihan is an Oberlin student. He'll be the tenor soloist in one of the movements. And again, that is the Church of the Covenant, Euclid Avenue, 1 block east of Severance Hall. On the web address, you can go to covenantweb.org, covenantweb.org, for more information on the beautiful World Wide Web. Gentlemen, thank you for coming, and have a great time. I don't know if you could say that really with respect to the Rachmaninoff Vespers, but there is a certain amount of elation in that kind of singing. hear it on Sunday night. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Suite Number 2 by Tchaikovsky, the Scherzo Burlesque, was played by the Detroit Symphony on WCLV, conducted by Navy Yarvey.
Support for WCLV comes from the Cleveland International Piano Competition, presenting Grammy-winning pianist Martha Argerich and Sergei Babayan in concert together at Severance Hall on Monday, October 30th at 7:30 p.m., performing works by Mozart, as well as U.S. premieres of works by Prokofiev, transcribed by Mr. Babayan. Information is at clevelandpiano.org. Support for WCLV comes from Great Lakes Theater, presenting the musical adventure The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Shakespeare's magical comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, through November 5th at the Intimate Hannah Theater, Playhouse Square. Tickets at greatlakestheater.org.
Here's a sampling of arts events that are happening around northeastern Ohio. Lando National Folk Dance Ensemble of Croatia is coming to Playhouse Square. That's on Saturday evening, October 7th. The Danish String Quartet will open the season for the Cleveland Chamber Music Society with a program of quartets by Beethoven and Bartók, as well as folk music from the Nordic countries arranged for string quartets. That's on Tuesday evening, October 10th. A new season of the Cleveland Playhouse continues Shakespeare in Love. That's running through October 1st. The new season of noontime brown bag concerts at Trinity Cathedral in downtown Cleveland will begin on Wednesday, October 4th. That's when saxophone duo Jake Swanson and Sarah Marchitelli join the Trinity Chamber Orchestra in music of Handel, Swans, Glazunov, and Nathan Hall.